Okay, students, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing good at your homes. Yesterday, we have learnt about microsporogenesis. Now, today, let us go into another interesting aspect, that is, the pistil, the megasporangium, which is also called an ovule, and embryo sac. Embryo sac is also called female gametophyte. Right. Now, before we start here, let us understand the structure of pistil. Pistil actually is represented by the gynoecium. So you know that the gynoecium is a female part of the plant, female sexual part of the plant, which consists of a stigma, style, and the ovary. So figure 2.7a shows the pistil of an hibiscus plant, which has got the 5 stigmas on top, the style, and the ovary. The stigma is that part which provides a landing platform for the pollen grains, and the style is an elongated cylinder part which is present below the stigma, and then we have a swollen basal part called ovary. The ovary encloses the small cavities or locules inside, and which consist of the megasporangium, otherwise called ovule. So ovule, otherwise called megasporangium. The number of ovules may vary in a plant. It may be one to many. For example, like in case of wheat, paddy, or mango, it is one, and in the case of papaya or in the case of orchids or watermelon, it will be many. Okay, children. Now, how does this ovule, the megasporangium, develops? And where it is found? We know that ovules are found inside the ovary. Ovules are found inside the ovary. Now, you know that if the ovary isn't it? If the ovary consists of only one pistil, we call this as a monocarpellary. So you can see here, monocarpellary. If the gynoecium consists of a single pistil, it is called monocarpellary, and if it contains more than one, it is called as a multicarpellary. If these carpels are fused, they are called syncarpous. Syn means united. And if they are free, they are called as apocarpus. They are called apocarpus. Right. Now let us see here some of the diagrams. You can see in diagram B, we have got multicarpellary syncarpous pistil of papaver. Papaver somniferum, a plant that gives us drug. And then we have got multicarpellary apocarpus and michelia. You can see here the carpels are free. The carpels are free, right? And the D diagram shows about a single ovule. Single ovule. So ovules are found inside the ovary, which are born on the placenta and which are there in the ovarian cavities, otherwise called as a locules. Right. Let us study the structure of megasporangium, that is ovule. Now you can see there is a stalk on the ovule which is called as a funicle. The stalk of the ovule is called funicle, and the junction between the funicle and the other part is called as a funicle, and the ovule is known as hilum. The hilum is that part where the junction of the funicle with the ovule. Now each ovule consists of a mass of cells called nucellus. Each ovule consists of a mass of called nucellus, which are surrounded by the integuments. You can see here the outer integument and also inner integument. Outer integument and also inner integument. And these are protective in nature, right? And then these integuments actually they're not combined together, they're not fused, they leave a small opening at the tip, and that is called micropyle. The end opposite to micropyle is called chalazal. You can see just down there, chalazal pole. So micropyle is that end where the integuments do not fuse, and the chalazal pole is that part where it is opposite to the micropylar end. Now, there is generally a single embryo sac inside the ovule. Okay, that is, what is the other name of embryo sac? I told you embryo sac is also called female gametophyte. So usually an ovule consists of only single embryo sac. Okay. Now at the ovule usually which is generally has a single embryo sac which is formed from the megaspore. Okay. Now what is this megasporogenesis? Let us see. Megasporogenesis is a term that is refers to the process of formation of megaspores from the megaspore mother cell. So remember yesterday we talked about microsporogenesis, right, where the process of formation of microspores, and here this is a process of formation of megaspores from the megaspore mother cell. Okay, so usually from the cells of the nucellus, right, from the cells of the nucellus, some of the cells will be getting differentiate into what you call megaspore mother cell, right, in the micropolar region. Okay, so you can see in this diagram. So one of the cell has been identified as megaspore mother cell. Okay, so this megaspore mother cell which is diploid, the ploidy is 2n, and this cell now undergoes reduction division. So you can see the first division leads to formation of two cells, okay, which is called microspore dyad, and then the third diagram you can see it is one more division has resulted in the formation of four cells, which is called as a megaspore tetrad. So tetrad means four cells. Out of these four megaspores, now what is the ploidy of these megaspores? Megaspore tetrad. So naturally they will be haploid since they have been formed by the reduction division. So therefore they are haploid. Now this megaspore mother cell, out of the four megaspore mother cells, what will happen? Three of them will degenerate. How many? Three of them will be degenerating and only one will be functional. So this type of development is known as monosporic development. What is it called? Monosporic development. Why it is called mono? Only one of the megaspore is developing, isn't it? And what about the rest of the three megaspores? The three megaspores are getting degenerated, right? So therefore out of this four megaspores, three will be getting degenerated, and as a result only one will be functional. Therefore it is called functional megaspore mother cell, functional megaspore, and then as a result it develops into what you call female gametophyte, right, otherwise called as a. Now how does this develops into a female gametophyte? Let us see. So what is other name of female gametophyte? It is the embryo sac, right? So how does it develops? Let us see here. Now imagine this diagram, that is 2.8b, right? So the first cell, the first diagram shows that nucleus has divided mitotically, isn't it? And then given rise to two nuclei, isn't it? Two nuclei. And this nuclei, okay, two more successive mitotic divisions will result. How many? Two more. Okay, look at the second and third diagram. We will see that the total number of nuclei after the second division will be 8. Okay, that is 4 at the one end and the remaining 4 at the one end. So the first stage is that in the first stage the nucleus divides mitotically to form two nuclei. Later on, two successive mitotic divisions will occur, resulting in formation of 8 nuclei. 8 nuclei. Okay, out of these 8 nuclei, after this 8 nuclei stage, cell walls will be formed, leading to the organization of a typical gametophyte. Okay, now let us see after this how these 8 cells, 8 nuclei will be getting orientation. Now out of these 8, okay, the 3 at the micropylar end, look at that fourth stage, the micropylar end, the 3 of them will form what is known as the egg apparatus. 3 cells will be grouped at the micropylar end and they will be constituting the egg apparatus. An egg apparatus consists of one egg, which is naturally haploid, and also synergids. Synergids which are also called as helping cells. So that will be there at the top. So therefore, so they will be helping in pollen, what they call entering the pollen tube inside the embryo sac. So there is an haploid egg and there will be 2 synergids, right? What about the 3 cells at the chalazal end? The 3 cells at the chalazal end will be again forming what is known as antipodals. They are also haploid in nature. And the 2 cells, that is the 2 nuclei at the center, so they will be getting separated and they will be embedded in the central cell. And later they will be getting fused to form what is known as what you call secondary nucleus, otherwise called polar nuclei. Called as a polar nuclei. Okay, children. So here, what do we understand here? Right. If you look at again a very mature embryo sac in this stage, that is C diagram, you will see that the diagram is reversed. No, the third diagram is showing the better about orientation, but in fourth diagram, the diagram is reversed. Now look at that. The micropylar end shows the egg, okay, and then we have got two synergids, isn't it? And you can see in synergids there are certain what you call cellular thickenings. The synergids have certain cellular thickenings which are called as a filiform apparatus. Okay, and what do they do? What is the role of this filiform apparatus? They will be guiding the pollen tube into the what you call embryo sac, right? And then we have got a central cell, okay, having two polar nuclei, otherwise called secondary nucleus, and the three cells will be at the chalazal end. So this diagram represents a diagram of a mature female gametophyte or embryo sac, okay, and this is having how many cells? They are 7-celled and 8 nucleate. How many cells? 7-celled. So a mature embryo sac, a mature female gametophyte in an angiosperm has about 8 nucleate and 7-celled. Okay, so how you count about 8 nuclei? So 3 at the what you call micropylar end, okay, that is egg apparatus 3, then antibodies 3, that is 6, and then 2 at the center, that is polar nuclei, it makes 8, and cells, because central cell is there, so 3 plus 3 6 and 1 7, so 7-celled and 8 nucleate. A typical angiosperm embryo sac, a mature embryo sac has shown this what you call 7-celled and 8 nucleate stage. Okay, so that means now after learning of microsporogenesis, that is the development of male gametophyte and the development of female gametophyte, okay, so what major differences that can you draw from these two aspects? Okay, the first one is the male gametophyte develops from the microspore, that is pollen grain, isn't it? That is the male gametophyte develops from a pollen grain, whereas a female gametophyte develops from the megaspore. No, that is the important thing. And then usually this male gametophyte does not remains permanently embedded inside the microsporangium, isn't it? They are released into the air, the daisies, and then they release into the air. They are not embedded inside the microsporangium, whereas in female gametophyte, it remains permanently embedded in the megasporangium or the nucellus, isn't it? And it is of 3 cells, isn't it? 3 cells are formed. Male gametophyte is 3-cell stage. Remember yesterday we have got 3-cell stage. What are the 3-cell stage? The 3-cell stage is one, right? Look at here. What are that? One large vegetative cell and the generative cell. The generative cell is so called because it generates 2 male gametes, so therefore it becomes 3-cell. So therefore we say it is 3-cell. But what about the female gametophyte? The female gametophyte is how many cells? 7-celled. 7-celled. Okay, children. So that is about today's topic of megasporogenesis, the ovule and the development of female gametophyte. So stay at home, children. Stay at home, stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much.